I checked into the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park just ahead of a storm, telling myself the stories were just marketing. But if you're already feeling that little thrill of fear, don't skip this. Because what I heard on the 4th floor wasn't just the wind. At 2:13 a.m., a child's giggle echoed right outside my door. Bright and clear, followed by the soft patter of tiny feet. When I looked through the peephole, nothing. Just a long, silent hallway, with the elevator light staring back like a single red eye. I threw the deadbolt, pretending my hands weren't shaking, turned around just in time to watch my suitcase rotate a polite quarter turn toward the closet and unzip itself. The metal teeth whispered open, as if an unseen housekeeper decided I wasn't doing it right. If you've ever had your luggage move on its own, drop a yes in the comments so I know I'm not totally losing my mind. Out of pure nervous habit, I whispered, "Thank you. Big mistake." The room smelled of lemon polish and old hotel dignity when the giggle came again, closer this time, and was answered by a sharp and eternal TSK from the hallway, the kind of scold that snaps a child back to bedtime. The giggle turned into a muffled squeal, like hands were pressed over a tiny mouth. I cracked the door open. "Tell me, would you have opened it or not?" Found the corridor empty, but listening. The black and white photos on the wall seemed more awake than before. When I closed the door, the closet eased itself open, and my suitcase slid neatly inside with a tidy little bump, like a chore had just been completed. That's when I heard Ida piano floating up from the lobby, single, timid note, then another, finding a waltz in an empty ballroom. And you can tell the difference between a recording and real hands. There were tiny mistakes, human hesitations, and even the sound of a bench scraping, like someone smoothing their skirt before they settled in to play. If your skin just prickled, hit that like button, so I know you felt it too. I took the antique elevator down, its cage groaning like it remembered every guest who ever lied about being brave. From the doorway of the ballroom, I saw it lit like a dream that had ended an hour too late. The piano was playing itself. 2 keys would gently depress, then lift, and the bench even nudged back as if someone taller than the last player had sat down. I stayed in the doorway, because stepping closer felt like interrupting someone who was still on the clock, 100 years after clocks even mattered. The melody resolved into the waltz fascination, so soft and sincere, it almost made me cry. I bowed it. Just felt right to acknowledge a courtesy that had outlived its owner. And right then, back up on the 4th floor, I heard the faint squeak of a cartwheel, quickly corrected mid-squeal by that same invisible authority. Back in my room, and I want you to picture this in your head. The lamp dimmed and then steadied, like a nod. The bathroom door swung shut with no draft. The faucet turned on and a washcloth folded itself with crisp, satisfying patience into a perfect square my own hands could never manage.
Hey.
I told the empty air, "You don't have to work, I can manage." The light over the mirror flashed once like an offended huff. The medicine cabinet clicked shut with authority, and the scent of old lavender brushed past me toward the closet where the hangers answered with a chorus of neat little clicks. "If you'd have said thank you too," admitted in the comments, because I already had twice, and then I learned matters. At breakfast, the staff told me about her. Everyone says her in that hushed voice you use for head mistresses. They said she likes order, demands it, and that the living staff prefer you don't encourage her. It's great advice, 8 hours too late. The rest of that night was wound as tight as a piano string. Every tick of the radiator was a metronome, every whisper of the storm, a chorus line of maybe footsteps. Then, at 3:01 a.m., the music rose again, sweeter this time, as though the hotel played only for itself when guests were lost in dreams. If you're still with me, and don't leave, because this next part is what I truly and explain. You need to imagine what it's like to be helped by something that doesn't want thanks. Every shirt I'd packed was hung by color, cuffs perfectly aligned. My socks were nested heel to toe. My toothbrush was angled precisely toward the sink like a salute. And on the pillow, a blank ivory card, pressed with the faintest dot line, as if a woman's gloved fingertip had worried at a tiny hole in the fabric. I woke to a hallway that felt rearranged, longer somehow. A living family was at the far end, their son laughing, but when they turned the corner, that other asterisk giggle returned from behind me, a transparent echo. A light is the biggest liar in a place like this. Everything looks safe, until a real housekeeper knocked and glanced at my militantly tidy closet. Without even stepping inside, she just said then, softer, "Did she behave?" When I told her about the folding, the piano, and my idiotic gratitude, her face went pale.
Ow!
It encourages her. I escaped into Estes Park for the day. But when I returned for my last night, the fourth floor was back to its library-like hush. My door, which I had definitely locked, was now open. Inside, the room stood at attention. The bed was turned down again, my suitcase was completely unpacked, my shoes were polished, and my belt was coiled like a sleeping snake. On the pillow was a second blank card, pressed with a new pattern of dots, as if a patient finger had tapped. Asterisk, here, asterisk. If you'd have been filming at this point, type rolling in the chat, because I set my phone down just in time to hear the bathroom door close, the faucet run, and my toothbrush get corrected by a few degrees. Quietly, but not quietly enough, I said. I appreciate it. The light blinked once, a warning accepted, then steadied, while the closet approved with one last chorus of hanger clicks. The wedding party downstairs ended at midnight. At 12:17, the ballroom below exhaled its private music again. The bench gave a small, contented slide. And somewhere in the hall, a child's giggle tugged at the rules and was instantly shushed. I finally slept like a soldier who knows peace is just a truce. At checkout, when the clerk asked how my stay was, I said, orderly. That seemed to please someone I couldn't see. As I left, a wind like thin paper reminded me that not all movement is air. I turned for one last look, and don't blink on the fourth floor. Curtain gathered, paused, and fell in a way wind doesn't know how to do, forming the suggestion of a profile that prefers the background. Walking to my car, I heard it. The faint, deliberate squeak of a cartwheel, corrected mid-roll. And the old promise of a skeleton key, turning in a lock that hasn't existed for decades? If you would dare request room for anything after this, comment fourth floor so I can find you. And if you want me to go back with motion sensors and a mic on that piano bench, subscribe to the channel. Because now, I want you to listen to this. It's the audio I captured at 3:01 a.m. You'll hear the bench scrape and 3 measured notes of fascination. But if you listen in headphones, you'll catch the one extra sound I missed until I boosted the volume. A tidy little TSK, right before the melody sets itself in order like a housekeeper reminding the hotel just how to be perfect.